good afternoon everyone. A very happy new year to you. Thank you for joining us this weekend. My name is Adeline. I'm a senior consultant with AIMS. I've been with AIMS for the last 5.5 years and it's been a pleasure serving all our clients and assisting with all the inquiries. So today we will be zooming in on the Australia and Canada Skilled Migration Program. Our agenda will be like this. I'll first introduce our company to you. Then we will discuss Australia's skilled migration, followed by Canada's skilled migration. And we will not have a Q&A because this is an online session. But for any questions that you have or any feedback, anything like that, you can just participate and communicate with us on the Facebook Live session. And my colleagues are on standby to respond to your queries. So a little bit about AIMS. We have been operating since 2006. That makes it our 15th birthday this year. We are the biggest immigration agency in Singapore. So being the biggest, not just in terms of our office size, we are also the largest manpower in Singapore. That also gives us the opportunity to have the highest amount of success rates. So we want to continue to be the leading migration agency in Southeast Asia. And what has helped us very much in our daily activities and how we push our clients is through our core values push. We don't intentionally want to force or push our clients to start the application, but if the time is favorable for you, we will then try to help you to start and make your move. We have 12 offices in 10 different countries. Having so many offices all around Southeast Asia has helped us to give a more convenient processing flow, especially to clients who relocate. Like for example, if you're currently working in Singapore and next month or the month after you are planning to go to another country or to go back to your home country, your application can definitely still be ongoing. So AIMS in 2021, we have about 300 of us, consultants as well as client support specialists, management. We have 12 offices in 10 countries. We offer immigration to more than 20 destinations and we have helped over 18,000 families. So in terms of destinations, there are so many that we can help you to migrate to. But of course, this also depends on how you are looking to migrate there. So in particular, why we are focusing on Australia and Canada is because these two countries are very, very popular for their skilled migration program. What is a skilled migration program? Basically, if you have a profile that suits what Australia or Canada is looking for, then your chances of getting a direct permanent residency is very high. This does not require a job offer, it doesn't require any employer sponsors, so it saves you a lot of time and it saves you a lot of trouble of going through short-term visas as well. Why people choose AIMS, there are so many reasons, but a few of them would be the full spectrum of services that we offer. So we offer complimentary consultation. We don't charge you to assess your chances, to assess your eligibility, or if you are very familiar with the immigration program, you might have some specific questions that you need to ask, and that's what we are here for. We have been here for the last 15 years, so there's a lot of situations, scenarios that we have come across that you definitely cannot find online, but we can help you with. We have a dedicated consultant to be with you from the start all the way to the end of the application. So you don't have to keep on repeating the communication that you have, information that you have conveyed from the start. And also last but not least, given our offices across Asia, it then makes us very accessible. Most importantly, we are fully licensed. So in order to do the Australia applications, we must have MARA agent representation. And all our Canada applications, be it a student visa or your long-term visas, family reunification, and this permanent residency, we are fully legally represented. So, well, another good thing about Australia and Canada is that they hold 3 spots out of the top 10 most livable cities in the world. So we will jump in to talk about Australia. Australia is a very, very popular immigration destination, not just for these reasons that we have shortlisted, but I think mainly because a lot of us have friends or family who have experiences living in Australia, who were there last time or who are there currently. That makes us more comfortable to move to somewhere that people know about. But just to highlight to you, if you were to get an Australian PR today, you will have immediate access to education as well as medical benefits. So when we talk about education, this is the rough cost that you're looking at if you're an international student. So like myself, if I'm planning education for my children, this is the potential cost that I might incur. But if I were to embark on a permanent residency application, once I get my PR, I don't really have to pay any money for my children's education. And of course, healthcare, This is very vague, very brief. This is just about childbirth, but there's so much more things to medical healthcare coverage. But just for example, childbirth, we paid about 8,000 plus Sing dollars for to give birth. And in Australia, with the coverage, you are paying almost close to nothing. So these are just small benefits. When it comes to salary, this is not to tell you that you're going to be a multi-millionaire, an overnight high earning threshold kind of pay. But this is to show you that the minimum wage as well as the hourly rates and the pay that people get in Australia is comparable. And this will, of course, in turn help to support your cost of living, which is really much lower if we just look at maybe a car. So this Toyota is going to cost you close to 21,000 Australian dollars. No COE, no 10-year limit, it's just yours forever. I think with 21,000, we can only have a car for 1 year in Singapore. So these are some of the pros, right? But how do you really qualify for the skilled migration program? There are 3 possible visas that you can qualify for, okay, and I will give you details on those, but just let's look at the criteria first on how you can qualify for this program. So firstly, there's an age limit. You have to be below 45 to receive an invitation for your PR. But if you ask me, I don't think that you should start your application at 44 because given the COVID restrictions and the implications that we have suffered, the processing time is going to take about 1.5 to 2 years. So the latest that you should start your application should probably be at 43. Okay, you must pass a skills assessment, and what this refers to is your current occupation. You must have a current occupation that is in demand in Australia. Australia government has already shortlisted a list of occupations that they need. So your occupation must fall under this list for you to be eligible as well. And apart from having an occupation that's eligible, you must also pass an assessment to show that you have the correct qualifications, the relevant working experience, and the duration is also something that can justify. We will need English. You have to take police and medical clearance as well. So back to the visas that we were talking about just now, the 3 possible visas that you can apply for would be subclass 189 and 190. Basically, these are direct permanent residency pathways. And 491 is a regional visa. It's a 5 years temporary visa, but it does offer you a direct pathway to PR as well. It is considered a very new visa subclass. It was only introduced in November 2019. And the good thing about this visa is that it's valid for 5 years, and you also have access to the medical and educational benefits, although you are not yet a PR. So in order for you to convert to a PR, you just need to live and work in a regional area for 3 years. You must also satisfy this points test where you must score at least 65 points. And the factors that contribute to the points test are not very difficult. They are just basic human factors like your age, your English proficiency, your qualifications, your employment, duration of employment, and if you happen to study in Australia before, or if you have close family members, this might help to boost your points as well. So just a summary of the visa types that I mentioned earlier, there is a permanent residency pathway and there is also a provisional visa or rather temporary visa pathway that will lead you to a permanent residency as well. So what is the timeline like after you have done your consultation and we have established your eligibility? When you start your application, the first thing we have to do is to complete your skills assessment. This is a very common mistake that a lot of people make when they try to do the application themselves. It seems very simple if you just go to Email Affairs and there's a direct link for you to apply, but you must understand the process behind it as well. So a skills assessment is something that a lot of people miss out, and secondly, a lot of people are also not aware of the criteria to pass the skills assessment, so this is where we can help you. After you get your skills assessment, we launch your application, given that you have enough points, and then subsequently you receive your invitation and you have a PR that's valid for 5 years. Some very common questions, one would be, clients always ask, how soon must they relocate to Australia? For example, if I got my PR today, must I go within the next 3 months, or when can I go, when must I go? So there is a first landing date that's usually 10 to 12 months from the date of your visa grant. But for the 24 months of residency requirement, it is really flexible any time throughout the 5 years and whatever combination that you want to do. One more perk for you if you're going for an Australia PR is that you have direct access to New Zealand as well. An Australian PR is also a New Zealand resident, okay, not permanent resident. And being a resident allows you to live and work in New Zealand. So let's say if you are looking at New Zealand as an immigration destination, the immigration for New Zealand is currently closed unless you're looking at an investor visa. But it's okay. If it is closed, you can always access New Zealand through Australia. But FYI, if you were to get your New Zealand PR today, you don't have the same access to Australia. Okay, so I will move on to Canada. Some good news to share with you that Canada has released in the last quarter of 2020. They are giving out 1.2 million quota for PR for this year, next year, and 2023. So on average, it's about 400,000 PRs a year. And this year in 2021, Canada Immigration is looking to release 411,000 PRs through the Skilled Migration Program, which is the one that we are talking about today. That will average out to be about 34,000 PRs a month, okay? But if we just look at the January draw, there were 4 draws in January, but if you add them all up, they barely even hit 10,000. So there is already a surplus of 20 over 1,000 from January. In February, it got a little bit closer. This is about 28,000, so there's still a few more thousand to go. And this is really proof, and we can see that Canada is really trying to hit their quota. So it is a good time to enter Canada. Now, there are also, of course, other reasons that clients share why they like Canada, like salary, education, medical, cost of living, about the same as Australia, right? So how do you qualify? Firstly, you must pass a federal skilled worker points test with at least 67 points. For this federal skilled worker points test, even if you score 68, 9, 70, 71, it doesn't make much of a difference for your eligibility. Basically, you just need to score 67 points. So again, the basic human factors will be taken into consideration, and this will help you to move on to be eligible for the General Immigration Program, which is called the Canada Express Entry Program. The Canada Express Entry Program is a points-based selection system. The higher the points you have, the better. And every 2 to 3 weeks, there will be a selection. Even throughout COVID, this program has never stopped. How do you calculate your points? Again, it will be based on age, qualifications, English proficiency, and whatever that we are sharing with you right now is the highest possible points that you can get for that particular component. So if you are a single applicant and you are below 30, you are going to get 110 points, which is the maximum. But every single year that we grow older, we get penalized by 5 points. Once you turn 40 onwards, you get penalized by 10 points until you hit 0, which is at about, I think, 46 or 47 years old. So, of course, the takeaway over here is you should have done it yesterday because you were younger, but it's okay if you do it today. Hopefully, you're still the same age. But every single year, the points will drop. Just take note of that. As for the other factors, like qualifications, English, it is not so quick for you to lose your points. In fact, you can't lose them at all. So it's really all about your age. But if you happen to have French proficiency, this is going to help you very, very much in your points test. And of course, if you have studied in Canada before, or if you have a job offer, it will help you very much, right? So if you remember earlier when I was showing you the quota on how many people were getting selected, you would also see that, I'll just go back for your reference. The points of selection is at about 468 to 471, 72. And this is the number of points that you should be getting from this express entry points test that I was sharing. So let's say in the event that you did your calculation maybe with Canada Immigration, or maybe you come to us and you did a calculation and you are short of the points. Maybe you are at 420, maybe you are at 380, something like that. Does it mean that you cannot apply anymore? No. You still have the provincial nomination program, where Canada focuses on the more regional areas, and these provinces are very much open to foreign professionals to come and boost their economy, to come and increase their population. So if we establish that you are eligible and you are happy with your options, you start your application. At the end of the day, when you receive an invitation, You will also have to complete your police and medical clearance. Now, there's one important thing that Canada government requires, which is your financial capacity. So it depends on how many people are moving together, like family, single or two people, or family of 3, 4, 5, 6. Each, the more head count that you have, the higher the financial capacity you need to show to the case officer. Okay, this is what a confirmation of PR looks like. This is what you will get before you move to Canada. And once you get your confirmation of PR, you also have direct access to the education as well as the health benefits. Last but not least, when it comes to conversion, citizenship, Canada has one of the most fast-track citizenship pathways, which they have just improved in the recent years. So just by accumulating 3 years of physical stay in Canada out of your 5 years PR validity, you will be eligible to apply for a Canadian passport, which is one of the strongest passports in the world, and this doesn't require you to do any kind of investments at all. Right? So with that, I've come to the end of my presentation for you. While I cannot have a Q&A session with you, please feel free to reach out to us. If you are on Facebook, you can PM us, or you can chat with us on Facebook Live. If you are on Instagram, you can drop us a DM. If you are on LinkedIn, you can drop us a LinkedIn message. Or if you are on our website, you can submit for a free assessment. So again, thank you very much for your time. I wish you a good weekend. As the COVID situation starts to get a little bit better, I still hope that all of you will stay safe and stay at home. Thank you.